Mrs. 1000 goals. Welcome to that exclusive club. Welcome, the Queen, Andrea Lekić.
Those feelings that you have in the pitch or the feelings that you have in the locker room with the girls, it's never coming back.
My question of the week this week, how far will it go for Fradi this season?
Ball across the Dylan Nahi, double in flight. Oh, what a start.
Ooh, into the net.
She does it again.
Yes. And Magdeburg are the champions of Europe. To come up with something here. She has a game. Across the keeper. What a comeback.
It is Sunday again, and it is time to talk handball again. A very uncommon time for us to actually hit that record button, but it is Sunday 10 p.m. already. But the reason why will be figured out shortly. At first, hi, my name is Bengt, and I am one of the hosts of this spin, We Talk Handball, and I'm of course joined by the OGs for once more. At first, the guy who actually scored 10 international goals in his career. There, that direction, Martin Vilstrup. Nice having you here. And in the other direction, the guy that scored 8 in Champions League finals. That's good as well, I think.
I loved it, this one, Bengt.
Martin, I was actually a little bit surprised, but you do have your profile on that EHF site, on that EHF page, and it says in the 2019-2020 season, you did score 10 goals in the Challenge Cup.
It must have been a mistake in the statistics. I remember it being way more than 10 goals, but yeah.
How many were it from your side? Well, you're a beach handballer. They don't count double.
No, that's true. I don't recall. I recall we played against a team from Lithuania and Russia, and then it got cancelled in the quarterfinal when we were supposed to meet I think it was Valur from Iceland. So 10 is probably right. I remember the away game in Russia where we moved through to next round on away goals. So yeah, that was one hell of a drama.
It does sound like it, but on your side, Victor, you did have your goals in those Champions League finals. Do you remember all of them? It was 8 in finals.
I don't remember all of them, but I remember I scored a lot of goals in one final against Hamburg, but I think it was 7. I'm almost sure about it.
Oh.
But I don't remember. I don't remember all of them. I just remember that in this one, it was the final that I scored the most, and we lost. So I just prefer to don't score and win.
Yeah, that's the reason why I didn't find them, because I only looked at the ones that you actually won, and that's where you contributed 8 final goals. And we will be joined by 5 goals from the last Champions League final, because Andrea Lekić, she's just about to join us. What does it mean to score a goal in a Champions League final? Does it weigh extra heavy?
Are you asking me?
No, obviously not.
Yeah, it's an amazing feeling. It's an amazing feeling. But if you ask me, my first Champions League, it was in 2005, and we were playing in a away court and a home court, and scoring in a home court in a final, in the Champions League final, that's amazing. Of course, scoring in Cologne, it's also amazing. But in a home court where all the people is supporting you, that's something else.
Actually, did you play the first or the second leg at home?
Second leg.
Oh, that's
we
great.
We lost by 1 in Ciudad Real, and then we went back to Barcelona to take it home, and we won by 2 goals. So yeah, it was amazing.
A little bit dramatic. Was that too much for you in your first Champions League season, or was it the first season for you, or was it the second already?
It was the second. The first one was 2003, 2004.
Mm-hmm.
The second, it was 4-5. No, of course, it was not too much. In that season, we only won 1 game away. Was in Vardar. We lost in Constanza. We lost in Szeged. We lost in Kiel. We lost in Celje. We lost in Ciudad Real. So yeah, it was quite of a roller coaster, but of course it's nice memories from them.
It does sound like it, but we do have someone else who can answer that question, who is not Martin, but how it feels actually to score a goal in a Champions League final. Because, ladies and gentlemen, I may introduce her, Mrs. 1000 Goals. Welcome to that exclusive club. Welcome, the Queen, Andrea Lekić.
Good evening, gentlemen. Thank you very much for such a nice introduction.
How's it going? Where are you calling from?
Yeah. I'm calling from Belgrade. We have some days off, and unfortunately, I was a few days sick. You know how it goes.
Oh, actually?
When you have days off, usually you're sick. Just got my days off for, from the club, but we have to go back. Tomorrow we are starting again, and it's really time for the young players to play on international scene.
I watched the Serbia game today against Spain in the international tournament that they are playing before the World Championship, and of course, Mrs. 1000 Goals was not there.
Come on, this thing not bad. Yeah, I was watching a little bit against Japan. I didn't have time to see today against Spain. I just saw the result. But this is quite a normal situation now because the team is quite new, I would say. So they will really need some time to get some good results. But I believe that they're going to do nice things, I hope, in the future.
So what do you actually expect from Serbia in the World Cup?
I think the main objective is to go through the first round. So I think this is their main objective, and I think it's pretty realistic. They're going to have very tough matches against Denmark and Romania, and these two teams are going to be favorites in the group, especially Denmark, I would say. Then after Serbia has Chile, as I know, which they should win and advance in a second group, let's say.
That sounds great, but at first we have to talk it because we have to talk about it because you really like that name. That's what I saw in your reaction once we started calling you like that. It's a super exclusive club. Only as the 4th player ever, you actually achieved it. You scored your 1000th Champions League goal. Were you aware when you scored that goal that was number 1000?
I was aware people started to chant my name, fans on the tribune. So basically that was the moment when I realized, okay, that should be 1001. And of course, everyone was already joking, you know, they're supporting me for the match, like, come on, one more. And I was like, okay, it's, you know, when it comes the moment that you should score one more, you're like, okay, this is really too much, not gonna force it, not. And then it comes really naturally. So I became aware about this number of 1000 like 2 or 3 weeks before this because it was an article about that, and then I realized, okay, I'm getting closer to this number. Yeah.
Why it took you so long? We were waiting to invite you to this podcast for the 1000 Goals, and we were okay. Not this week. Okay.
I just tried to be more exciting. To wait me a little bit more.
Jokes aside, congratulations, because it's an amazing milestone, and especially for you that, of course, after 1000 goals, it's clear that you score a lot, but you're also a player that play a lot for their teammates. You like a lot to play this 2-against-2 with line players. So this is even more impressive that a player like you, a pure playmaker, it's getting there. 1000 goals in the toughest competition in handball. That's amazing.
Okay, thank you very much. Getting a compliment from you, I think it's a really huge honor, and it means a lot, really. Yes, as you said, I think this is my favorite part of the game, playing 2-on-2, and I really enjoy in every second of it. And I just heard like a few days ago, assists like makes 2 people happier. So that would be very nice, and I really agree completely with that. I think that the key to this is just a consistency and discipline. As you know by yourself, and you guys, like whatever you do in your life, doesn't matter if you have this discipline and a strong will and your determination to be successful and to pursue your goals, then this is how I came, let's say, how I scored 1000. I never thought about this. As you know, I think no one is thinking about this. but I'm playing already on like highest level in Champions League like for 17 years. So it's many years are behind me, and somehow it's a really nice thing. And I have to say I am proud of it, because when I think about the number of matches which I played and also the things which I overcome during these years, it's a really nice thing. Yeah.
But especially talking about that discipline and holding that discipline up for, well, way over a decade right now, almost 2 decades. Did it ever get hard? Was it ever hard for you to keep that level up and to motivate yourself?
It was not hard to motivate yourself, I think, because I don't know, you are just, I'm still the same. I'm motivating. I'm still thinking about this, what goals I have in front of me, and what I need to do to fulfill them. And I'm still doing the same thing every day, because I said I'm gonna stop doing this when I'm going to be really hungry for training, because this makes our matches perfect, let's say. And it was hard when we are talking only about these are the hard moments in my career. Those are the things which are not easy to overcome, and I had quite a lot, I would say. So in some moments, yes, but then surrounding myself with a quality people next to me, I think made the things easier.
What did you do to overcome the hard moments?
Of course, that I made many mistakes until I didn't find the right people working with me, and especially this physical field, I would say. And then when I found people which I could rely on and to feel fully protected and to trust in someone, as we all know, the trust is the most important part of the process. I succeeded to be consistent. Let's say I'm a pain-free. I'm not a young player, so being let's say mostly pain-free in these years, it's really great thing. So that's why I think I'm enjoying, and yeah, I just found, I think, the right formula.
And especially now that you broke that really huge benchmark, 1,002 goals it is right now. Among those 1,002 goals, can you name one favorite?
It's really hard because they asked me also, do I remember my first goal in the Champions League? I don't remember exactly. I think it was like a Savehov. But one of my favorites would be for sure like a spin shot against Giori Audietto in the final, playing for Vardar. That would be one of my favorite, definitely. I like attractive goals, and definitely yes. And of course, Sevli goal, which was contributing like to my team also last year in the semifinals. It was very important to play very good role against Esbjerg in that moment, and I was really fully enjoying on it. But I don't know, it's really hard to bring one in front of others.
Yeah, I can imagine. But that goal that you just talked about that you scored for Vardar, was that the most stunning one that you scored? Would you say that, or
I would say yes, because it was like in the almost the last seconds of the Champions League final. So yeah, I think yes.
Yeah, I can totally understand. Martin, you wanna ask something?
Andreas said that her age was getting a little bit higher. I want to say it like you are a more experienced player. That sounds more positive to me. But I was wondering about, because when you gain experience, was there ever a point throughout your career where you maybe had to adapt your playing style? For example, let's say Victor is probably not as fast as when he was 20 years old, and being a playmaker, playing in where it's getting physical, then maybe there came a point where you were adapting your playing style. I really liked playing 2 versus 2 with the line play, especially your national friend Svijic. You seem to have a great relationship outside the field, but also on the field.
Thank you very much for the compliment, of course. I did. Definitely I did. I'm really trying to do that, because as we know, handball is changing a lot. And of course, that being more experienced, you cannot follow up on that highest level, let's say physically. But there are so many things that you can do, because, for example, my style of game before was, I would say I was more going into a duels, more going into a contact. And that definitely was harder for me to like sustain and hold on the level. But now it's also, I was playing more defense, let's say, and also now I have more ability to change, so I can also be on the level and perform in the attack for 60 minutes. Of course, I'm still playing defense a lot, But when there is a possibility for me to rest, then I'm taking this rest. Before it was like not that much, but now I'm really trying also to play, as I can say, I'm maybe more analyzing games that I did before. So I'm also committed more to this part of the game, which is also interesting. But yes, with Switch is also good, having that kind of a live player. And also I love live players, definitely. And I try to have a lot of deals with them, even though many of them are, with Dragan and I, are also spontaneous, because we also know each other for so many years and we don't talk that much. But in that point of view, I also don't have to get so many hits playing in this kind of level. And I think it's also important to avoid all possible duels if you can avoid. If you cannot, I'm also not having nothing against them, and I am also really fine with getting hits. So yeah.
Well, she took this Kirill Lazarov style to. He had never a hit in his career, or also this Spanish style, to go really wide in the 2 against 2.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
far away from the defense and look and observe from the distance.
But I had the Spanish coaches, and that was the thing which I really enjoyed during my period in Vardar, because I learned different styles of the game, like really movement without ball as a basic thing in a Spanish handball, and we did quite a lot on this, and I really improved in that part of the game, and I enjoyed it, honestly. So yeah, that would be one of the things which really changed.
But it's also a good way to avoid injuries, and then you can expand your career on the
Definitely.
field.
Definitely, when I see a defender who is really aiming on me the whole match, I'm just like circling around.
No defense for me today, coach.
It's like, come on.
Yeah.
But it's also sound like when you get more experienced, probably when you're young and you want to show up and show people what you're capable of doing, it's more about, the power going 2 versus 2. As you said,
you're attacking like this in the fast break. You're not using this one. You're like, hit me, please.
So now it's also about, being smarter, seeing where is the space.
Yeah, it is. You're protecting really much more your game than before. That's right. Yeah.
But I also have a question, maybe it's another direction, because you played in some countries also, with the club, but also with the national team. And I actually want to know, because in Serbia, it seems like, spectators, they know how to cheer for their own teams. What is the craziest crowd you ever played in front? I experienced, the EHF Final Four last year, and I thought the FTC fans, they were, without the jerseys standing on, and I know it's probably
I would
football,
say, yeah. I would say you just gave the answer for sure. They are definitely the most craziest, and it's such a fanatic thing and such a beautiful thing to play in front of these guys, and the audience is just amazing, and it was stunning. It was completely memorable thing last year, but it's also on our matches like this. We really feel it a lot. FTC is a huge team, and I think on Final Four, people really realized how the fans are really committed to the whole community, let's say FTC community. It doesn't matter which sport. Of course, football is a priority, as everyone knows, but still, they really like to come to support anyone who is just wearing FTC jersey, and it's a really privilege to feel this crazy energy on the stands.
Actually,
it is not easy, I have to say. Also, you have to know that you have to fulfill and to be ready for the critics, but that's also fine. One doesn't go without another, so it's okay.
Now that Martin has opened this topic, because you have been in many countries, in many teams. You've been in Krim 2 times, in Győr, you've been in Vardar, Bucharest, Budućnost, and now you are again in Hungary, but in FTC. I wonder myself, because you have been a player that in all your teams, you have been an important player. You have played an important role. And it's difficult for me to understand how did you move that much, because and why did you move that much? Because for a team, you are an important player, and when you get to know the coach, when you get to know the system, and you feel more comfortable playing handball that the coach and the club wants from you, a normal player, a normal person, it's normally staying in the comfort zone. So why did you move that much? Of course,
Very
because
good question.
you have been in many amazing teams, but yeah, I really would like to listen.
There is an answer.
Why?
Yeah, there is an answer. The moment when I was moving from Cream, especially, it was my biggest. I was completely aware the Cream in that moment cannot win the Champions League. And I already realized that I'm on that level, like that I would really like to go. First, I went to with Giori Audietto. I went there with the one reason, to win the Champions League trophy. I knew that I was going in the club where Anita Gorbic is really a goddess, and she's a goddess of Hungarian handball. So I really knew that there is no chance for me to play a middle back. I knew completely, and I was aware, even though I had the chance to go in Valcea in that moment, and I had a contract on my table, so it was in the very same moment where I could play much more. But it was the moment when you are just having this structure in your head, and then you're thinking, okay, there is the best player in the Europe, in the world that moment, in the middle back. And there was this thing in me, okay, where I always want to prove myself, where I always want to compete with the best, and where I always want to progress if it's possible. So I was ready basically to sacrifice my game in that moment. I was leading the game in Cream. I was the main player and one of the best scorers in the Champions League. I could stay in Cream, of course. I had an offer. But in that moment, I just felt, intuition. In that moment, I was like, okay, this is the time to move. I really want to feel something else. I really want to feel crazy atmosphere, a very well-organized club, and they offered me also great conditions. So I didn't make a mistake. I just won the Champions League there, and I was playing this is the club where I learned to play on a right back, by the way. So many times when I'm scoring from the right back, if this happens on the matches, this is definitely the plus which I gained there. But playing a Spanish system, as you know, now I'm going deep into the subject, but just to explain myself a little bit, that there I was really many times finishing the things on the middle backs, because we were changing and crossing a lot and moving without the ball. So I was there, I would say, satisfied, because I was also in my position, even though it was not easy, but it was worth it, I would say. And then I just went from there to Vardar because I wanted, now it was time. I won the Champions League, and I was like, okay, now is the time to play my own position. That was the moment, because I knew that it's going to be hard in that period of time that I will get a full chance on a middle back. So after that, I played in Vardar for 5 years, a long period, and I would not go from Vardar, definitely. I fully enjoyed everything, but the club fell apart. Then moving to Bucharest, it was a COVID period. That moment, everyone was so crazy, like no one didn't know what to do and these kind of things. Went to Budućnost, and I'm definitely the person who really likes challenges. And sometimes I cannot say bored. It's a very sharp thing, like to say like a statement that I get bored, but I like challenges, definitely. And I'm not that, I always want the new things to try, new people to meet, and new experience to gain. So I think this was my main drive during my career, I would say it like this. And then definitely somehow when the things finished in Ferencváros, now I was like, okay, maybe this is kind of destiny. I just came back to country where I won the biggest things in my career, and I'm really fully enjoying. And I definitely would choose my decision again. It's not the same like in men's handball. You have like Barcelona, which is completely crazy big history. In handball now, we don't have that much in a women handball. We have Giori Audietto, of course, but all the other teams are trying to get there. Vipers is there, but few years ago, we don't have that club with a crazy history, a big one that like Barcelona in men's handball, I would say. So it's also
I understand that Gior maybe is creating this story now. And at some point, maybe Hippo, was very, very historic.
Yes, Hippo was amazing. Yes. Amazing. Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. But I know what you mean. But so from your words, you played for 5 seasons in Vardar. Would you say that the Champions League final that you lost against Gior for so little difference was the toughest one? Or it was the last one with FTC?
No, the toughest one was this one first, what you said, what I played with Vardar. The toughest one was like we played 2 finals and we lost this on the same way. And the second one was the most painful one, because I think without any exaggeration, it was the point where you finish this Final Four and you're like, okay, like I'm completely now destroyed. Like without any exaggeration, I really couldn't function for a period of time. I was very sad, like really demolished, especially the club was, let's say, shut down in that moment. And everything was very sad. Especially we missed that shot in the last second. Lekić saved it in the last second for the penalties. So it was really hard. And that spin shot exactly which I scored, which I already mentioned, should be the goal for the victory. But then we got a goal from Duda Amorim in the last second and we went to extra time. So everything was so chaotic. It was really hard. That was the hardest moment. With FTC, it was hard for me. No one likes to lose the finals, but from other point of view, we had too many players who never played Final Four. So from other point of view, it was already a huge success what we did, and then playing against Vipers, let's say it was some kind of reward. But for me, still, it was hard to lose. Yeah.
Actually, talking about it, how does it feel to be shaking the hands of the opponents then afterwards, knowing, oh well, we were so close, and especially Duda Amorim, that she scored the goal? What goes through your mind in those seconds?
You know that I can really completely tell you in a second how everything looked like. I think this is a nightmare now. I'm laughing, but yeah, I don't know. You're not even thinking about that moment. It's just a thing of a fair play. That's how I see it. It's a complete normal sport. Today you lost, tomorrow today you lose, tomorrow you're gonna win. That's how it is, But in that very same moment, I don't even remember the scene congratulating them. I don't even remember, because I think the sadness was that much, the disappointment was so huge that I cannot recall that moment at all.
I think that in those moments, players, we need to be very, very cold in our minds, because you just lose a final, and I don't know, a lot of things might happen. Like, I don't know, maybe you have been playing wrong, or maybe doubting about some referees' decisions, and right after the game,
I think it was this, honestly saying.
Yeah, 2 minutes after the game,
honestly also
you get the media asking you about the game, to make a balance about the game, and you have to be in a very, very cool and calm position to don't fuck yourself, because
exactly, you are
it's
completely right.
It's very tough, and
you
really
that
to
you
use
need
your
also
mind.
a lot of it is like this, but this is by yourself, like being a captain. This thing also brings another weight on your shoulders when you should be example in many ways of it. And I think it's also a thing of experience, I would say it, like being through so many matches, also being in a difficult situation. But sometimes I could agree with you, I would forbid these interviews after the matches, or I would say just go and ask the winners, leave us alone. Like, let us go. This procedure now that you are even forced to go in a circle, I completely respect. It's a part of our sport. We are going to make our handball more popular this way. People are going to get inside how you feel, and million kids are watching you, and it's really, but in that very same moment, you're like, just like, is this ever going to stop? You have a feeling like this is going to be like for 3 hours there.
Oh, did you actually ever get really upset in an interview?
I was not upset. I was completely, as I said, crashed. I think like a zero emotion went from me. I was like that man talking. So, yeah.
I don't just mean in that moment, but in general, did you ever get really upset with an interview question?
I learned with the time. I had these moments when I was younger, playing in Slovenia for the first time. Then I realized, okay, people are watching, people are commenting, and then for the first time I had this crisis, when you're a kid and then you're reading the comments everywhere. And then you're like, but why would someone offend me? Like, I'm 20 years old, what this means, why people are criticizing, I'm still young, And then I have to say, back in those years, it was really painful. But then after the time, you don't read this anymore, and I don't get upset in the way. If I don't want to answer, it's also my right to say, hey, listen, I don't want to answer on this question. If you want something else, someone from the club, if you need more infos, but I'm not the address where you should ask this. So now it's not anymore, because we all have our own rights, and I think now it's much somehow easier, because this was not that much before, as Victor, I think, can agree with me also, like journalists were not so much present, I would say, on these press conferences, so many questions after the matches and this kind. Now it's more in the game, and I think it's also okay. So It's fine
Yeah,
for
I
me.
agree. I agree that with both Final Fours, men and women, the product itself, it's growing year after year. So I think I agree with you that media is more and more present, and I think that's something really good for our sport.
Completely agree
But
with you.
in general,
So this brings also
I was
positive, negative things.
Yeah, sorry. I was just kind of expecting more from the journalists because after a game, the first question they ask you is, when you lost the game, how do you feel? And it's like, obviously, you know
Oh,
how I
great.
feel when I just lost a game. It's like,
It's
what
like,
do you expect
ask me more.
You had you had 60 minutes to prepare a question, and then you're gonna ask me that question. Of course, I feel
Okay,
like,
but how many
yeah.
times we had this? How many times we had this interview? The people are calling and asking constantly the same question, and it's really boring. It's like, come on, get more. Like, just get more interesting questions. It's the same.
So
Yeah.
you are in a state of mind where a lot of feelings, and you just lost the game, and then he's asking you, yeah. You ask yourself, how would you feel if you lost the final or whatever match? So I think we could also expect a little bit more for the journalists sometimes when they ask the questions.
Exactly.
But yeah.
But I think this is very important because this brings much more infos in our sport. If people are constantly asking the same questions, you're getting the same answers. It's anymore like I'm like a play, stop, rewind, forward. It's all the time, the same. Like how it's going, just like give us just a little bit more also, let's say, meat, so we can also answer. If you just get some interesting question, you will get more answers. That's definitely.
Yeah, maybe I'll give a shot with an interesting question because now that we talked about your stations everywhere, yeah, probably. But still, I'm just gonna go for it. You did have many stations in I would say all of Europe, but it's actually not all of Europe. It's Slovenia, Macedonia, Hungary, and many, many more. Everywhere, just in Eastern Europe. You never wanted to leave, would you?
I wanted to leave, but my biggest wish playing in that moment in Serbia before I went to Slovenia was Denmark. Denmark was having the best league ever in that moment. But then when I started to play on a serious level, Denmark dropped. And I was like, great. It was the same for Spain. It was the very same thing. Valencia also having great teams and these kind of things, great successes. Always wanted to play in Spain. It sounded like a perfect thing to play, to have the best food possible, to have a best energy ever, like, weather, but unfortunately not. So
I know what you
indeed,
mean.
the level of handball, I know, you feel me, I know. so yeah, this is the thing only, that the league just dropped a lot everywhere in the Europe. So basically now France is having a nice league, but Hungary is having a very nice league. Really, it's a very nice quality. And then you have Germany is getting better and better, Germany, but still not on that level, let's say. For many years, they don't have a team which is playing important role in and then if you ever wanted to play in a good clubs which are going to attack, like, let's say, the some trophies in the Europe, those were the countries.
I think that Denmark now has also a good level league, and Romania as well.
Yes.
So yeah, I would say that it's probably more competition and toughest leagues in women handball than in men handball, because I think that in men, of course, it's the Bundesliga and France. Then I would say it's Denmark, and after that, okay. In Spain, if you don't count FC Barcelona, the league is quite tough because all the teams are fighting a lot. But I think in women handball there is more countries with tough leagues than in men.
Yeah, but this is happening in the last few years. You're completely right, because Denmark is stepping up a lot and it's getting better and better, and this really makes me happy, because people are having more opportunities also to also learn the culture, to go somewhere else, to play a different style of handball, because this is what brought, which I got from a different coaches from different countries. It's a completely different styles of handball, and I think this is such a, let's say, blessing in our sport, because you can really learn a lot, gaining a new experience. These kind of things for me made me better. But this is the answer. What I said, I didn't go nowhere because this was the moment when I was, I would say, like, I was like really hot on the market and this kind of thing. So I could choose, and then I was choosing the things which are just aiming on the top of the Europe. So that's why, indeed.
But you're still in time to go to Denmark or France.
You think, huh? I will
I
see with
think so.
Martin. He's gonna fix something or not.
But I'm gonna
So I don't
warn
know,
you. We
Victor.
have the -1 degree at the moment, so
That's a problem, but I don't know, Victor,
yeah.
why he doesn't like establish some women part of Barcelona. I think every player of the world would like to go there.
That's true.
I would love to see a tough and powerful woman team in FC Barcelona jersey. That's not up to me; it's up to the club. So
I know, I'm
yeah,
joking, of course.
yeah.
But
What
now
It was
women
never
football is
really
crazy
nice.
popular. Yeah, but
It
now
is.
Okay.
It
women
is.
football is crazy popular. It's like really
It
amazing
is.
and stunning in Barcelona. I could say everywhere, but Barcelona is really,
Yeah, yeah,
really good.
yeah. They've done a
But
great job.
whenever
Nothing,
you
I will
had to
just start
choose
playing football
between,
then.
yeah. Oh, are you a good football player?
I'm not bad, I would say. I'm not
You
bad.
you just recently scored in training, didn't you? Emily Burke gave you the
Catch
assist, and you
Of
finished
course,
it.
of course. Yeah. We are changing the role of football. She assists me on football and I handball. That's how it is.
No, but I was wondering,
it is.
whenever you had to choose between a club, it was never, in your mind, choosing maybe a country to go to that was similar to the culture that anything to do with languages, and because, no, okay, because maybe that
No,
had something
really,
to
no,
do also
no.
when you have to choose. Okay. Because
No,
we
but
we
like you
spoken with
hablo
some
español
persons
and I
earlier.
never played in Spain.
Dobro.
So no.
Because we spoke with a lot
Bravo.
of other players that
Yeah.
had that in mind when they had to choose with the language, with the culture that are probably similar to their own, but that was never
But
something that came to your mind.
but what you have to say? What can you say about Hungarian?
True.
That's a tough one.
Easy
But
stuff.
I
That's
know,
an easy language.
I,
Easy language.
I know a Spanish player who speaks amazing Hungarian. I would say almost perfect.
His name is
Nerea.
Victor
Who is
Tomas.
that one?
Nerea
Nerea
Pena.
Pena. Okay, but you know her destiny. But you know her destiny.
Yeah,
She was the
okay,
only
yeah,
foreign
yeah,
player.
yeah,
She didn't have a
yeah,
choice. That's how it is in the life.
yeah,
You
of
don't have a
course, of
choice, you
course.
learn it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's how it is.
Now that we
Yeah,
are
she
going
is
about,
really stunning.
now that we are, going this way, you started this season at FTC after being in the final last season with new coach. In a few games, the club decided to make a change, so hire another new coach, and now it looks like FTC is coming back. How was it, all these changes in FTC after so long time with the same coach, and then in 6 months you had the new experience with two different coaches? How was it, all this?
It was really a roller coaster. I would say that definitely that's a good description of this old part of the season and everything. Of course, I was 1 year with Gabor here, and I would say we made the biggest success in the club's history. And for me, it was also, like, let's say, some players like grew up with him. I'm not exaggerating. Like, he was their coach for all their lives. So for them, it was quite, I think, huge change. And you can imagine yourself like training with the same coach 10, 15 years, and having only him and his style of trainings, and then it comes another one with a completely another culture, completely another training. It's really hard to adjust. And that's really tough thing, it's really not easy. So somehow I was really expecting some turbulences. It's completely normal. And through my whole career, the change of the coaches sometimes bring immediate effect, as you know, and sometimes just not. So that's how it is. And I think with Martin, the things didn't go well, as everyone could see. We didn't play good. That was the problem. But Alan, the assistant coach of Martin, let's say, they worked together in the I think Swiss national team.
Switzerland,
And
yes.
also Alan, exactly. And Alan was like, I think Alan was main coach of Viborg, and he was Aalborg, this kind of thing. So he was already main coach. This is not the first time for him. Just people are not so much, let's say, included in his, let's say, handball history. So he was also main coach before. Then he took over the club, who took over the trainings and everything. And for now, the things are going really good. I think we adapted well and we reacted good. But there is one thing which is really symptomatic with us, and that's a huge truth, that we are having a lot of ups and downs, also like last year. So this was somehow nothing new in one way for me, because we had this already. We have been through this. And the positive thing, as I can see it, that when it's hard, we react good. And that's very important, I think. So I think we can adjust very fast when it's a critical moment and when it's a crucial moment. I think the team has a character to show this. And that's, I think, how we jumped out from this part of the season to last like 1 month and a half, where we really played the good matches. So yeah, we have a hell in front of us. I hope that the storm is behind now. But sometimes we are unpredictable.
I have a theory about that, about what you just said.
Yeah.
It's normally changes make the impact and the fast effect, as you said, when things go wrong. But when things go
Very
right,
wrong. Yes.
yeah, and when thing goes right, and you make a change, so you normally don't have the effect you wanted. And I think this is exactly what
agree.
it happened to FTC. Because when
Yep.
you started this season, especially in Champions League, losing the first 3 games by a lot of goals of difference, and then the club decided to go with Alan, and then you start,
Yep.
he made his impact right away. So
Yes, I completely agree with you. Like, even statistically, we can completely agree with this. So it's very visible that this was the case with us. And I'm just really happy that self-confidence of the team is back on track. And it's very important to finish this part of the season before the national team break. As you know yourself, also, like, it's very important to go to the national teams, to go to, let's say, to have a time off with good energy. And I think it can be crucial also for the second part of the season, because looking at our group, it's a really hell. I don't remember when was the last time when I played in the group, which is having such a number of teams which are equal points, and you really don't know what's going to happen in front of us. Yeah.
Actually,
But if I have to
go ahead.
just sum it up quickly, just it's not a good reminder, but last season you also lost with a couple of goals against Bietigheim, but it ended up being very good in the end of the season, Lekić. So,
Nice
so
you
maybe
are.
you will do the
Couple
same
of goals.
story.
Couple of goals, 40-20 is written here, I think, forever. Yeah. We that was like the toughest loss in my life, I would say. That was
But
painful, honestly.
it ended up very well.
Yeah. But we are now talking between each other like, hey, come on, we are, in any case, we are starting to play in the second half of the season. Like, take it easy. We are just we're just getting better. So yeah, but I like the system, because it really shows that you have to be the best one in the moments when it's crucial. So it's going to be very interesting now, and it's definitely it's stressful in one point of view, but it's other point of view, I think it's really good to have this kind of matches, and it's really interesting for handball and handball community to have this kind of rivalry now in our group. It's going to be completely crazy, and I think the matches are going to be full of tension. But like you said, I hope that we are gonna bounce back as we did the last year. It would be a dream also.
Because the Hungarian league is going well, and you just won against Győr. So as you said, maybe taking that momentum into national break and then bring it further to after the national break. It's giving, I would guess, confident, because players are stepping up and the team is delivering, and it seems like you're going in the right direction. I'm just happy I'm not the one who has to predict who's going through from that group, because it looks tight.
Omar, you will have to be the one to predict that.
You have to do it, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. But we will do that when you're not listening anymore, because we don't want him to be biased, to be honest. But actually, talking about that drama, talking about that roller coaster ride, I almost feel like you guys need that. I almost feel like you guys really need that to be pushing yourselves.
To think the same.
Yeah, because just look at last season, the quarterfinals. You just won by 1 goal on aggregate against Metz, and then Emily Berg's goal to send you into the finals. It's almost like you need those down phases to grow even stronger. especially talking about these two moments, how much older did you grow when you did have to suffer through those couple of weeks?
You don't see the gray or what?
Hairdresser did a good job.
We like exactly. No, but we like people to be disappointed in us. No. That's really like, I think no one wants this, but this is how it is. It's our destiny. No, really, no one wants this, but definitely it's the things which, when you are talking about FTC, it's somehow unpredictable thing, and that's how it is. There is something I'm really trying to discover still, but for example, against Gior now, what we played, I knew that we are gonna win no matter how this sounds, and really, I'm really speaking honestly, because you could feel it. You could feel it after ICAST match. You could feel the self-confidence on a really good level, and you could feel it, the energy in the locker room. You could see the eyes. You know how this goes, and you could see the determination. And it was like, okay, this is our time. Especially in our whole, like I think we didn't lose against like Europe 3 years, 3-4 years, something like that. So it's also kind of, let's say, history, tradition, or call it whatever, but still it's a huge thing. And I think we really got this momentum. We are now in this moment that the self-confidence is on a good level. I hope that we're not going to cry for some points against Rapid, what we, for example, lost this 1-1. It would maybe going to bring something in future or not, or so we have to win the matches on our home court now. That's definitely one of the most important things, and try to win as much as we can outside of Hungary. So yeah.
How far will it go for you guys?
We are going to make people happy.
What's the prediction and what's the goal?
I think we should always aim the Final Four. That's my point of view. If you're aiming high, then you're going to achieve some goals. If I'm not aiming high, I think we are not going to arrive nowhere. So we have to think on that level, and I think we are capable of doing that. And hopefully some injured players are going to join us in the second part, though this could also like make us better. Also, like Janurik is going to come back, hopefully Kovacic also. So I think we are getting stronger, and this really makes me happy, because we need also a little bit bigger squad, because people are getting injured. You know how it goes. So we had quite an issues also. We cannot forget this. And I hope that this is all going to get better, and then also more chances for rotation and a more quality game.
We just talked about last year's Final Four, and it was a roller coaster ride once again. I mean, how else could it be with the FTC on the pitch? And then it's always disappointing to lose a Champions League final, but nevertheless, you did work over the summer. What happened in Friday over the summer, apart from Martin Albertsen taking over? What happened in your team? So how was it? How did you guys cope with your with that final loss?
This. You know how I felt it. Somehow I felt it on the podium, that even on the on the podium, and even of let's say celebration after the final, the people were not too much disappointed in that way, you know, and it's also completely okay, and it's completely normal, and it's fine. Also, there are many young players being on that podium for the first time, and it's a big thing to be second in the Europe, definitely. And I think people were not mostly disappointed. I cannot say that I was disappointed, you know, but I was sad, I would say. Like, super proud in one way, when just the days were passing, and I was like, okay, that was quite a trip we made. It was really unbelievable, and also being a part of the club's history, it's beautiful. And also when I see that we had some special closing the season with the team on the boat cruising through Budapest, it was really somehow beautiful. So the things somehow got a bigger meaning, you know, and it was really nice in that point of view. But yeah, I think new season, same goals. That's how it goes, I think.
And then the start didn't go in the direction that you guys wanted to, and eventually, at least that's what you guys said on the homepage, it was Martin Albertsen himself who said he needs to leave and he needs to go. How was it for you? How did you guys get informed about that Martin Albertsen is leaving?
This is what I like with Ferencváros. We are always informed before the others, I would say, and I really like that level of respect and that level of functioning. So we were informed about that before the media, before everyone. Martin also talked to us like a normal people do, and for me that's completely a normal level of communication, and it should be always like this. No hard feelings in one moment. Of course it's hard, but I'm so many years in this that also like a player leaving the club in a not best, let's say, condition, in the not let's say best cooperation in that moment with the team leader or the staff or I don't know, the president. It's also somehow this is part of our job. One day you're here, second day you're not, and it's a little bit cruel, I would say. But from other point of view, when you accept to be part of this, let's say, handball circus, and it's just becoming a normal thing.
Did you ever have a look at the table during the first 5 matches of the Champions League this year?
I didn't have to.
Yeah,
You didn't have to.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
you
fair.
just get like everything. Yeah, but what to see, I think the thing what we did good in one way, how we try to bounce back. It's like we didn't talk too much ahead about this between us. It was like match to match. It was like ball to ball, let's say like this. So for me, I think this is very important, and now this is how we have to do in the second part. And we are aware that we don't have a good, like, let's say, goal difference, and we are also trying to influence on that in some matches, because you don't know at the end how is the circle is gonna be formed, and these are very important things. So you have to pay attention on every, let's say, important things. But I'm really looking forward. This is only what I can say, and fully motivated. And it's a huge thing to chase now. It's in front of us. So yeah.
Especially if I'm looking at you on the pitch, it always seems like every goal that you concede and every loss that you have to take, it makes you personally even angrier, even hungrier to win. Even it forces your will. Am I right with that, or did?
Yeah, when Victor asked me about this, I said the challenges. So I would say that's a challenge. When that's a quite a tough mission to fulfill, but I think this is what we are here for, like to fulfill, and I feel it like that I can always bounce back on these kind of things, and I want to, even I believe in it. So I really strongly believe in it, that I can overcome it, because when you overcome some hard injuries, when you overcome some hard recoveries, then things on the pitch, when you are on 40-20, then you are just blessed and grateful to be there. You have opportunity to fight for it. And when you're thinking on that way, you're like, okay, I'm here on my court, I'm gonna do everything what I need and what I can. So it's the hardest to be off the pitch. And then when you're there, you're just completely like happy to be part of this huge challenge. Yeah.
And you guys did take it up, and it was a game against ECAST. And to be totally honest, I didn't expect you guys to win that. ECAST just hit the ground running this season, and they overperformed the first matches, and then you guys came and you took the points. Did you even expect it yourself?
I have to say that against SB already playing in Denmark, we could see some progress in the team energy. So it was already getting better. I cannot say that we preferred like wow, but still the match was okay, better than it like we played before. So you could see already that it's going better. I think coming on our court and playing against us on our home court, it doesn't bring, I would say, like opponents are not relaxed, because the atmosphere is pretty crazy, I would say, and we have really huge wind blowing in our back. And this was the, let's say, momentum. Alan even had this speech in the locker room, like talking about this, like, I'm sure we're going to win today. That's my feeling. And he said, like, I just woke up with this feeling, girls. So I don't say this often that much, like, but I'm like somehow convinced. And how to tell you, I think we did a good analysis of them. They were amazing. And for me, until that moment, my, let's say, favorite team, which made the biggest, like, say, surprise in the Champions League. And I think we maybe slowed them down a little bit, even if you see what the number of goals, it would not quite say like that, but they didn't play their faster handball as they can play. So that's definitely one of the successes what we had. We were running back good, and we tried to, as much as we can, of course, to prevent them in that fast play, because this is their strongest weapon. And since that moment, if I'm not wrong, I guess is losing matches, as I think momentum a little bit for them went down. So, yep.
Can you see how Handball changed in the last years, when Andrea is talking us about not slow tempo of the game, but to don't let them run as much as they want. and the final score of the game was 37-36.
Yeah,
But
super
it
slow
was
paced
not,
game.
you know why? Because, no, but I have to say, they were not a high percentage of the saves of the game. Also, so I think one of the reasons from the both sides, it was not that high percentage, I would say, like not really. So I think this is one of the things, and it was really strange when I say this, but you also, when you look at the pace of the match, for sure, it was not the highest tempo of ICAS, what they usually play. So this I'm convinced 100%. I even remember the moments because they didn't use it that much. So I think this was one of the things. And I think we played really nice attack because playing against them, not losing too many balls, not like giving this privilege for them to run in a fast break, it was very important.
Yeah, I understand. And now looking at your group, there are 4 teams on 7 points. And one of those teams will not make it to the playoffs. The business is that hard. But especially looking from your perspective, 2 spots up the table. I'm looking at Vipers Christiansand, the back-to-back champions. You lost it against it in the final. Is the Vipers supremacy about to end?
They had the difficulties. They had the difficulties, health issues, I would say. So Vipers, it's kind of playing without Yehireva, we all know. What is Yehireva and what is Katrina Lunde to Vipers? Two key players. When you take them from the team, it's really hard to make the things work without them. Like, of course, all due respect to the other players, because I really appreciate all of them, and I really think they're very, very good. But these 2 are just magicians, I would say, in their job. So it's not really easy, and I expect Vipers to bounce back very much in the second part. And if the players are going to be healthy, then Vipers is going to be I think again a nightmare. I would never say that this era is finished, although we could see that they're missing a little bit Yarabkova, I would say. And it's the game is definitely different without her, and as she is also trying to let's say adapt in a ecosystem, I think Vipers is still trying to find the system of playing without her, and they have a new playmaker, Spanish one, so she's still young, and she also needs time. She's not experienced but talented, so of course it's a normal transition in one way. Yeah.
And when we're looking forward to the 10th of February, it's the second last match day in the group stage, and it is against Vipers. We don't know yet how the table will be looking then, because it is a little bit into the future. But especially after those last 2 matches that you guys had against Vipers, is it payback time finally?
But now it's a payback time against everyone, I think, for us. I'm not putting Vipers in front of anyone. I'm like, it's a payback time against everyone,
All right.
It's like this. We are in this kind of situations. It's like that's we have to win for the home court.
Friday against the rest of the world?
That sounds like that. No. That's how it is.
I want to know, Andrea, what does number 7 mean to you? Is that your lucky number because you play in number 7, 77, 70, and Buduknoc, if I remember correctly? Is just your lucky number, or does it mean anything to you?
It is. Yeah. It's following me like through my whole career. Some important things are happening on the 7th thing, like so important dates. It's a very also sympathetic thing. I just went to Ljubljana when I played there, and I like apartment number 7 completely. Like I choose the apartment, everything. Signing for Ferencváros, coming into a building, address is number 7, floor is 7th. These kind of things are also crazy. Wherever I move, it's a number 7. So I just I'm just attached to that number. I'm not like crazy superstitious also. So I don't also think that it's a must. It's okay. I love it. I think this is the thing. Yeah.
It almost makes me sad that you're born on the 6th of September and not the 7th.
Me also, but this is like almost.
Yeah, well, at least.
It's like
at
almost
least.
7. At least.
So 7 more years of Andrea Lekić on the professional handball stage?
Or like, no. It's not gonna happen.
Yes, it is. It is.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know who was the oldest ever. I think Rantala was one of the oldest players playing, and now Katrina Lunde is somewhere there. So
Okay, now
should I
you
try
are
to break that record?
now you are 36, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I am.
You are in a good, as you said, you are painless, pain-free, and as I can listen from your words, I think you are in a good state of mind as well, that your mind is still enjoying. So I'm telling you, as a retired player, don't retire ever. If your body and your mind is still there and willing to practice, willing to work and enjoying, just do it as long as you can, because those feelings that you have in the pitch, or the feelings that you have in the locker room with the girls, and the competition, because you are obviously a player who likes to compete, it's never coming back. It's never coming back. So don't retire, Andrea. Please do us this favor.
Thank you very much. It really sounds beautiful. I know, and I cannot even like imagine that somehow this life what we are living now, I would say that we are grateful and blessed, and somehow the life is very organized. The job is to put the shoes on, the diet, the time, everything. Like someone else is organizing. This is like also really nice, and I do believe that it's not easy, especially in your case, because of course I followed you. And I know everything about this, and especially, and of course, I'm like everyone was also sad in that very same moment. But the trail, what you left behind you, I think like it's just to be super proud of forever and ever. So yeah, and somehow I know it's like you could always give more, but I think a million people would kill to be there on your place, like so.
I don't know what it did.
Thank you so much.
Definitely.
I don't know what it did to you,
welcome.
but Victor motivated even me to never retire from handball, and I don't even play. So
yeah, but also beach handball is the same. We go through there. No.
Yeah.
Of
No,
course.
Martin. Is
Of
it
course.
the beach handball? Of course.
That's the Martin. Yeah. That's the Martin specialty.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. I know. That's what I say.
I don't know. I don't know if you. I don't know if you know it, but he's the champion of champions in beach handball.
I know everything. Of course, I'm following, but beach handball is my passion, but I was not allowed to play. I played it once, and I was like in Cuxhaven back in Germany, like many years ago. I really love it. I really love it.
Oh, in Cuxhaven this year, I commented a match with Martin, so maybe we'll get you back there once again.
And the beach, yeah. Did you have like bikinis, or how was it like when you were in the commentator?
It was a little too cold.
Speedos.
Speedos and fishnets.
Cool.
Yeah. But if you ever do think about retiring in 7 years from today onwards, will you take one of our jobs here, or
would you just join me, or I should like put someone out? That's I don't understand the question.
it will probably be up on you. But whenever, well, we moderated the Truck Scout 24 EHF Final Four together last year, and it was great. And I totally see you in our team. So I totally see you joining the EHF eventually, because you're doing great in front of camera and with a microphone in your hand.
Why not? I think it's a pretty nice job. It's a really nice job, and you stay connected with the things which you love the most. And so I think it's really beautiful. Also, like that's another level of experience, talking with the people in a completely another way. Now like I have the chance to ask the people. Usually you are always all your life just answering, and it's really cool because you have opportunity to ask many things as you want. And I have to say it's hard. In that like Final Four, first time I felt it like, okay, that's a level of focus has to be on the highest point. You have to be completely very well, like let's say, equipped with the knowledge.
If you ever ask a losing player how they feel right now, you owe all the three of us right here a beer.
Yeah. I would not ask. I would just ask like, why you play so bad.
That's a different style. That's a different style.
No. I would not. Definitely, I would try to be a little bit different. Yeah.
But apart from handball, you are a Bachelor of Economy after graduating from the Faculty of Tourism and Hotel Management.
Exactly.
Was it just important for you to have some other skill set just other than handball, or what motivated you to do something else?
I would say when I was younger, I was pretty interesting in that area. Like, I don't know why. I think also because of a lot of traveling, I was somehow always like in love with a beautiful hotels, exterior, interior, these kind of things, the level of functioning, and somehow I decided to take that. But apart from that, I also went to University of Sports, so I also finished this part of sport, like for being a coach, believing or not. Now I don't have this ambition. Maybe one day, I don't know. Now it's still not there. So I also finished that, and somehow I don't know if I'm gonna be in that area when I finish my career, but definitely I would need a lot of practical job. Yeah. So
Have
I
you
really don't know.
have
I don't have idea.
okay, so you don't know. You have never
Yep.
visualized yourself out of handball
I
yet.
did. I did.
You did?
I did. I did. I don't know for the like hotels and tourism. That's definitely that I don't know. But I visualize myself like already for quite a period, I would say. I really like working with the kids, and I really like this educational thing with them. It really makes me happy and fulfill me. And I have my own camp for many years already behind me. So I think this is the start of that process many years ago that I started because I wanted to see if I really can do it, if I find myself and these kind of things. And I truly love it. And that's why I'm also part of this Respect Your Talent EHF program. And it's one of the great things. And I think that we, like ex-players, can be a really great examples in our sport for the young generations. And I think definitely make our sport people, like kids, more informed about handball, like what it really means. Handball, playing handball. It's not only the court; it's so many things next to it. Education of the young athletes really makes me happy. So I think one of the things which I will surely do is this.
I also had my summer camp some years ago. I
I
stopped
know.
doing it.
Yeah,
I stopped doing it on 2020, the pandemic season, let's say.
yeah,
So you started in 2013, if I'm not wrong.
exactly. You're right.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Okay.
then pandemic the same.
So now it's
I
the
stopped.
question. Have you already played against any of the players that has been in your camp?
You know that I played. You know the
Yeah.
player who plays now in the national team of Serbia, Jovana Jovovic. She's playing in
Okay.
Debrecen, and it's a really cute story. She was the first camper, by the way. So she was the first
Okay.
one on my camp, and it's such a stunning experience to see these kids like growing. It's not, I cannot say, but now I've been there through all her path and a few also her teammates. So many players are basically now getting on the big stage, and it's beautiful, honestly. It's really
Yeah.
good, and
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm communicating still with them,
Yeah.
like very often, I would say.
Yeah,
So
that's
yeah,
amazing. It's lovely stories. I have also some of
yeah,
them from my camp, but yeah, to just
it's so
explain a
cool.
short one.
No, it's really
I'm now
beautiful.
I'm now
Yeah.
representing some of the players that came to my summer camp as a kids. So that's
Really,
amazing.
that's so cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's really good.
yeah,
But this is a healthy, I would say, healthy relation because these kids can rely on you. You know how many things in our sport are like, let's say, openly not functioning on the highest possible level, especially things with when someone is representing them, and if you're having a very nice vision for them, not only transferring them to club from club to club, but you're having some kind of vision for their future and choosing the right path and getting the advices from a person who been there, done that, so knows what you need and what is like, let's say, important to develop their self. It's no better thing.
yeah. I
Definitely.
agree. I agree.
You started playing
Definitely.
handball as a kid as well. You started when you were only 10 years old. It's been
Yeah.
26 years. 26 years on
I
all
will
of
block you.
those all of those stages, all of those levels of handball. What's the biggest
Yeah.
lesson that you learned on the way?
Like enjoy through the process. The time is flying too fast. That's definitely like enjoy in every match, every second of it, like good or bad. But everything is thing of a process, and the time is just flying. So, like Victor said, that moments growing up on the court, meeting so many great people, having so many great memories, because this is what is it's left outside of handball. This is what we are having a beautiful friendships and a great connections with the people. So just build strong bonds with the people and enjoying every second of it, definitely.
And those 26 years brought you to the point where you scored 1,002 goals in the EHF Champions League Women. And that achievement will be celebrated. It will be celebrated in January at the EHF Grassroots Convention 2024. Maybe tell us a little bit about it. What will happen there?
I'm really honored to be there. As I heard about the project, I was informed let's say, period of time. But it's a huge honor for me to be there, and I'm happy that this convention is organized. And I think it's a huge thing for handball. So I'm going to represent the Respect Your Talent, let's say, idea, camp, program, and everything. And it's very important for handball to start developing young athletes on the right way.
Cool. I think it will be the 14th of January. Am I right?
It's going to be 14th of January. Luckily, I'm playing 13th, so I will have a Sunday off. So it's perfect. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah.
Boys, if you don't have anything left, I think we stole enough and plenty of your time. It's been an hour already. The time really just flew by. It's really amazing listening to you and to your stories, because you really lived through it all, and it's just very inspiring for people.
Thank you very much. I really enjoyed spending time with you, and it's really pleasure and honor to talk about handball on this level, because there are not so many opportunities to talk about handball so long and to open a different subject than usually. So, it's also my privilege. Thank you.
So
best of luck and stay healthy. Keep up the football skills.
Thank you very much. I'm going to work still now. When the girls are not there, I will have time now.
Hvala lijepo.
Bye-bye, guys. Hvala. Ciao. Adios.
Adios.
I could have been sitting here for like 3 more hours, just stuck to her lips and listening to her stories, because she's seen it all. She's done it all.
Yeah. I think it's amazing the way she communicates, and the security that she, you can feel she's a secure person, and the way she speaks, all her ups and downs has shaped her character, and I think that she is now in one point in her career and her life that she is enjoying, and the way I have seen her and the way I have listened to her, it makes me think that we might see Andrea for quite a long time.
Let's knock on wood right here, right now, because we can just hope for it. She's one great personality of professional handball. She's been it for a very, very long time, and it doesn't even feel that long, but still, she's been around forever, and it is great that she was able to join us, and especially when you talk about it, that she feels like a secure person, and she feels very secure in what she does. I really loved how she glowed up, how she grew up when she was talking about the young people that she was able to train, and that she saw how those guys actually enter the biggest stage, and she really keeps that contact. And whenever she said that she loves it, she didn't really need to say it, because you could already feel it.
To me, she's very likable, but to me, it also shows that she's a true leader, and you see this on the court also when we spoke about that she want to be, she gets, I don't know if she gets angry, but motivated, to teach the younger generation, her teammates, and because she's an experienced player, she has experienced a lot throughout her career. So for her, I think probably it's pretty normal to do so, but it's very blessing learning for, I guess, for the teammates and also the younger generation, that she is a leader and she's willing to, give her knowledge through to other people.
And Martin, you were trying to skip that prediction, but I am absolutely not going to let you off the hook here, because my question of the week this week will be not an easy one to answer, but how far will it go for Fradi this season?
Oh, how far it will go? I actually bet that they will make it through from the group phase, because she mentioned herself, Lekić, with the momentum. And also in the league, they are unbeaten in the league, if I remember correctly, and winning against Györ. Quarterfinals. Sorry, but I have to stick up with my own prediction, and I didn't predict them to make it to the EHF Final Four. But as last year, to me, they were also the underdogs, and the Cinderella stories are always beautiful. But let's see if I'm right or wrong.
Yeah, I mean, look at last season. It was in the quarterfinals where they lost the first leg by 6. And then they turned it around with winning by 7 in the second leg. So just like I said last week, a game is never over with number 77 on the field.
Yeah, but also they lost with 6 in Hungary, if I remember correctly. And I guess that most people were like, okay, if you lose with 6 goals on your home field where they normally do very, very well, and then going to France where Metz is normally doing very well, and then won with 7 goals, it was a surprise. But surprises are always welcoming in that sport. You know, it's hard to predict. But I'm gonna say with the quarterfinals.
Victor, agree?
That's a tough one. Because I also predicted that they wouldn't be in the Final Four, and the way they started it, for me it was quite clear that they couldn't reach it. But it's just still 6 games in the group phase to play. A lot of things can happen. They can still be, why not, second qualificate in the group? Why not? A lot of things can happen. So yeah, I think they would make it through the group phase, that's for sure. I think they will make it through the 8 finals, and I would go the same as Martin. I would say quarterfinals will be the top round for them.
That's actually too bad, because that's what I feel as well. I am giving them the quarterfinals too. Because I do feel like that momentum switch that Lekić talked about, it is, just giving them the win from behind that forces them through the group stage. How disappointing would it be to not make it through the group stage after that comeback? Because after the first 5 matches, there probably were still a lot of people saying, they are gonna come back, but I do bet that it would have been fewer than at the beginning of the season. But now that they are back in striking distance, and I did talk about it, 4 teams are on 7 points right now, fighting for 3 spots, potentially even more. But still, it will be just such a tight fight.
The thing is that there is a World Championship now. That has to be played, and then the competition is coming back in January, if I'm not wrong.
6th of January.
So the thing is, okay, a lot of things can happen in the World Championship, because a lot of players will play the World Championship and going back to their teams in a different physical conditions that they left. And also the thing is, how consistent are the teams gonna be? Because Bietigheim last season, it was quite well at the beginning, but then they couldn't keep up the pace. CSM Bucharesti, I predicted them to be the winners, and they are number 4 in Group A. So can they, play better? I think they can. So I see them in quarterfinals as the top round, but why not? They can make it to the Final Four as well.
Totally.
But it had also something to do with matchups, and it's early to talk about, because if you become number 3 or 4 in your group, who you're going to face in the other group. But what's also talking in advantage of them making it through, the last 16 teams, is that I see Group B as the stronger groups of the 2 groups, if I have to be honest. So, but they can end up playing against Odense, and then it will also be difficult. But it's the Champions League, so you couldn't expect anything less. But it's talking in their advantage that they're in the strong group, and if you can make it through there, okay, of course you have a chance. But first of all, I think the main goal is to go through the group, because you're having Vipers there. Krim was also unbelievable in the start of the season. They were as good as IKAS were at the moment, and now it seems like they're going in the wrong direction from them. and you have Rapid and Fraude who's coming from behind. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. And also with injuries, who can be healthy? As Victor said, will the World Cup, we cross our fingers, have any injuries? And is it a benefit for the teams who doesn't have that many national team players to train together? Or is it a benefit for the clubs that have national team players to go abroad and then only being able to play with the squad that you have? Of course, it's also always, good to play games, but yeah, that will also be a question in January when we continue the competition.
Yeah, you just said it. It is the Champions League, and it is the Machineseeker EHF Champions League men as well. They are playing, they are still playing, and they are continuing to play. But we have to look at what happened the last 2 weeks, because I don't think we had too much of a Champions League men talk last week already. That's why we need to focus a little bit on it, because Victor, ever since you mentioned Paris Saint-Germain in the third spot of the hot ranking, they didn't manage to win a single game. Did you jinx them?
Yeah. Yes, it was tough for them in Norway, and then also the game in Paris. It was a tight game against Kolstad again. But I still think they have the power to make it. I still think they have the players. They have the fan base support. So of course, in this competition, you go through ups and downs. We all know that. So I still have confidence in them.
But it's also a group where first place have 11 points and sixth place have 9 points. So it's, it's only 2 points and a victory. Then you can be in the top 2 and even be number 1. So Lekić said that it's tight in the Women's Champions League groups with 4 teams with 7 points. But here you have 6 teams, split up with only 2 points. So Paris Saint-Germain, they can still bounce back.
This Group A of the men Machineseeker EHF Champions League is crazy. It's
Totally.
crazy because also Zagreb is still there, trying to don't fall from the leading group. But yeah,
Szeged could group, basically the whole table.
Szeged could be leading the group in the next round. So, and they are in number 6 now. So, this Group A is exciting, I would say.
Yeah,
and Paris Saint-Germain will play against the matchup, the ever quarterfinal matchup in the Machineseeker Champions League against Kiel in Germany. So it's going to be interesting to see that matchup also with Paris and also with Kiel, because I don't know if we're supposed to talk about that game, but I think they can be very disappointed with only having 1 point from Denmark in going from Aalborg. So they also have to bounce back, and they won tonight also in the Bundesliga.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, Kiel, they are still top of the table because the other teams didn't manage to gain their points that they were supposed to get as well. Just talked about Paris only getting 1 point against Kolstad. But Kiel as well, they didn't really get their amount of points that they would like to have seen. But anyways, in the end, they still managed to get a point at least in the last match last week. Who do you guys see winning Group A? Because this is the time to make predictions, because you can't predict it at all. I have my prediction ready.
I honestly think Kiel is going to win the Group A.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Martin?
Nothing else to say.
Yeah, but I've been actually looking at the program also for some of the teams who
they are
play
all
against,
playing against each other. It's just
true,
the second round just has started. The rematches, they're just gonna come in.
Oh, I think it's gonna be Kiel as well, but I don't think we should rule out Aalborg as well. They can also be there, but yeah, I have to be boring and say the same answer as Victor and go with Kiel because yeah, it seems like they're gonna take the first place.
Then I'm gonna go against you guys. I'm gonna go with Paris. I just have it in
You don't
my
go with Kielce?
blood. I don't go with Kielce. They're gonna finish second. But PSG is taking the group victory. I'm keen to see it, but it will be interesting. Especially looking at next week once again, because we do have interesting matches coming up. Just talked about it. Kiel plays PSG. We have the Scandinavian derby once again. Karlstad against Aalborg. And Veszprem against Barca is coming back up again. I love those matchups.
Yeah, of course. The matchups are really tough, and of course, I think that the matchup that everybody is looking forward to is this Veszprem Barca in Hungary.
Yeah.
Got any predictions for that?
But also,
yeah, go ahead, Martin.
Okay. No, I was just looking at Victor said it with soccer. Don't rule them out. They're playing against Szeged also, and if they can win that one, it is playing in Croatia. Then they have 8 points. But the prediction for Veszprem Barcelona, as you asked for, I have to go with Veszprem again because they're playing in Hungary. They won in Spain. I have them as my favorites. It would be silly if I didn't predict Veszprem to win this one.
Yeah, especially because they do come with huge momentum in their backpacks. I think they are on a 5-game winning streak right now, having won very sovereign against Celje. I think they played Celje.
Yes, they did.
Having won against Celje. And yeah, then that match against Barca, they are going to be insanely motivated. And the crowd, so will be the crowd. So, Victor, do you think Barca will bounce back?
I would love to see them to win in Hungary, and I think they can do it. I think they really can do it because I think Veszprem has more pressure playing at their home arena than outside, because the fans in Veszprem, they are amazing. They are supporting the team, but they are also quite difficult sometimes. So I've been there, I've been there playing, and I was lucky enough to win in Veszprem with Barcelona, and I have listened the crowd whistle their team, and being very critics with them. So I think Veszprem is favorite because I think they are my favorite team and the favorite team for a lot of people, but I think it's going to be a close game.
Yeah, I do expect a victory by a 1-goal margin as well, and it can fall into both directions, so you will never know.
And the history with Veszprem is also that you're always a little bit skeptical with Veszprem, so I'm excited to see this game because you always expect the most of them, and sometimes they end up disappointing you because you look at the team and it's not crucial for the season, but of course if they win this one it looks very well in the group, but in general this round and the group and the face-offs in the matches, I only see Kielce against Pelister as the only one where you can easily predict Kielce to win that one. All the other matchups, it's going to be tough, and it's going to be interesting to talk about next week.
Most definitely. And interesting to talk about this week. Martin, I'm looking over your left-hand shoulder and there is no glass window door. What happened?
Oh, well, Sunday, 1 week ago, both of my windows in the bedroom and my balcony door is, it's what should I say? It's attached and it's done. So
Great.
This plate I got here, I have to, put around the window so it looks nice, but I didn't have, the time to do it this weekend.
Next Sunday, I guess. It will be next Sunday.
Always a new project. Always a new project. That's how it is.
Yeah, that's like it. But anyway, since it's -1 degrees at your place, it's good that you finally have a window again and that you don't have to freeze at home. Anyways, great week. of handball, great week of international handball coming in, and we are looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to it, to talk about it with you guys and with you guys out there as well. Listen in on YouTube, on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, on wherever you want to. It has been great talks. Thank you for tuning in, and we will hear each other again next week when it's time to talk handball
Ball
again.
across the Dylan. He double in flight. Oh, what a start.
Into the net.
She does it again.